So good morning everyone. My name is Abhay Singh and I welcome you all in today's video analysis of The Hindu. Today is 29th of August 2024 and we'll start with the first news headline for the day. And the first news headline is related to the unfortunate event which took place on 9th of August 2024. So in the recent line of stories, it is Bharatiya Janata Party which has called for a Bengal Bandh on Wednesday in state of West of Bengal, and various part of West of Bengal were paralyzed yesterday because of a bandh which was called by the Bharatiya Janata Party. And after a certain period of time, there have been a clash between the supporters of Bharatiya Janata Party and Trinamool Congress. Police has also interrupted in between to calm down the situation, but again the situation was not good in West Bengal yesterday because of a bandh which was called by the opposition in opposition of West Bengal, that is Bharatiya Janata Party. Now the now the next important thing that we have to discuss is the statement which is given by the president of this country, Draupadi Murmu. Srimati Draupadi Murmu, yesterday she gave this statement that enough is enough, enough is enough. It is the time for India to wake up to the perversion of crimes against women and counter the mindset that saw women as less powerful, less capable, and less intelligent. So this was a powerful statement which is given by the president of this country that India should wake up to the perversion of crimes against women and counter the mindset that women as less powerful, less capable, and less intelligent. Those who share such views then go further and see the female as an object. We owe it to our daughters to remove the hurdles from the path of winning the freedom from fear. So basically, this was a kind of emotional statement that was made by the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, that we should not. This is not the time that when we should undermine the capabilities of a woman, or this is not the time when we should, think that women are less powerful and less capable. So this was one important thing that we have discussed. Now, next important thing is that the interim government of Bangladesh, which is being headed by the former Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, have lifts ban on the student wing Islamist Chhatra Shibir and all associated organizations. So interim government of Bangladesh has lifted ban from a student organization which is the student wing of Jamaat-e-Islami, and the name of organization is Islami Chhatra Shibir. So this is one important news that we have discussed. Now let's move on to the next important news for 8th of August 2024. So in a recent political turmoil, the former leader of Jharkhand Mukti Morcha and the former chief minister of Jharkhand, Mr. Champai Soren, has joined the Bharatiya Janata Party, and few Jharkhand police officers have been quizzed by the police in New Delhi because they were accused of spying Mr. Champai Soren, who have recently joined Bharatiya Janata Party. So, new session in Div is about to start from today onwards. So, this is one important news that the coveted academic session of Delhi University will commence from Thursday, that is 29th of August 2024. And another important news is that the Delhi court had denied permission or approval to reopen the Rouse IS Study Circle building. The court has denied the approval to reopen Rouse IS Study Circle building. This is the same building where three students have lost their life while studying in a library which was constructed in the basement. The civic apathy took place on 27th of July 2024, in which three students have lost their life, and after that particular incident there was a pan India protest, and a lot of recommendations were made by the various student bodies and civil organizations. So court has denied the permission that it will not allow Rouse IS to open the study circle where three students have tragically lost their life. Now we'll move to the next important news headline for the day. So basically, after the elections of Jammu and Kashmir were announced by the Election Commission of India, there have been various kind of statements that are being made by various political leader. Now, one such observation that is coming from state of Jammu and Kashmir, that People's Democratic Party, the PDP, People's Democratic Party chief or the People Democratic Party President Mahbuba Mufti had decided that she will not contest the assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir. She basically said that she will not contest the election as she will not be able to fulfill her party's agenda if she will contest the elections. So she has decided that she is not going to contest in the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly election. This is one important news that is coming all the way from the top of the country, that is Jammu and Kashmir. Now we'll move to the next important news headline for the day. Most probably we'll see what's happening in Karnataka. Now, from coming to the top portion of the country. Now we are going to the Karnataka. Now we're moving to Karnataka. Now what's happened in Karnataka? Now this has become quite a problem in a non BJP governed state. Non BJP governed state are actually the governor of those particular states are causing or creating a lot of problem for the democratically elected government. Let's take the example of Karnataka. Let's take the example of Kerala. Let's take the example of Tamil Nadu. We can also take the example of the state of West Bengal, where CV Ananda Bose has, denied giving assent to various bills. So basically, in this particular series, the next state is Karnataka, and the governor of Karnataka is Thawarchand Gehlot. So basically, Thawarchand Gehlot has returned 11 bill passed by the state legislature seeking clarification from the government on various counts such as pending cases in the Supreme Court, overlapping provisions of two laws, issues in creation of new entity by a limited area and the authority of the government. So basically, these 11 bills which are returned by the governor of Karnataka, Mr. Thawarchand Gehlot, were returned because of various issues such as various cases pending in the Supreme Court, overlapping provisions of two laws. But again, we have to understand that the role of governor in the state is very limited. He is a kind of ceremonial head. But when this state appointed head, state appointed or the central appointed institute trying to intervene in the working of a democratically elected government, then that will create a lot of problem, because at the end of the day the people of that particular state are the sole beneficiary of those schemes and the act which basically government is enacting. So this is the kind of sad news, and this is not also good for a federalist structure, for a federal country like ours. So we have to understand that these things are not good for a long run. So we'll move to the editorial part of today's newspaper. Now both the editorials of today's newspaper are very easy. We don't have to use much of our brain to understand this. First article is basically related is somehow comparing the or making a comparison between Indian political system and Pakistani political system. Though the title of this particular article is a silent democratic backlash in South Asia, but in South Asia we are discussing just only two countries, that is India and Pakistan. How situation is changing in India and Pakistan. The article began with with the slight discussion of all the countries, that is Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan. But when we proceed with the article, then we'll see that only two countries have been discussed entirely, India and Pakistan. So let's start this particular article, and the title of the article is "A Silent Democratic Backlash in South Asia," which is authored by Farhan Hanif Siddiqui and Ajay Gudavarthi. So let's start this article. The recent developments in Bangladesh and earlier events in Sri Lanka, which was basically when when there was a protest in Sri Lanka uh, because of a sliding economic condition of Sri Lanka, then the situation of Pakistan, then the latest victim of all this political situation is the people of Bangladesh. So the kind of situation that is prevailing in this particular country is basically a example that how situation have been in South Asia, and all these three countries, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan, have democratically elected government, though they are not able to function properly. Comparison of the Indian and Pakistani political system in the post-colonial years have concentrated primarily on reasons why democracy endured in India and while Pakistan transgressed into authoritarianism. So basically, when we discuss the polity of India and Pakistan, then the most important part that we discussed about the political structure of both India and Pakistan, that why India was able to sustain the why the Indian population or the Indian government was able to sustain the democracy, and Pakistan totally transgressed into the authoritarian state. So this was the first presumption, or not the presumption, but basically this is the first factual hypothesis on the basis of which we are beginning this particular article. Now we will discuss few important points of this particular article. Then we'll move to the next important editorial of 29th of August 2024. India was typified as a case of exceptionalism with a functional democracy, a history of free and fair elections, and the well accepted operative idea of a separation of powers. So basically, in India, the political structure is quite defined. Powers have been divided absolutely, and Indian population has shown a lot of faith on the election process that have been adopted by the Election Commission of India. There have been a clear separation of power. States have some autonomy with themselves also, and center and state relations are the founding principle of Indian democracy. Now let's understand the whole situation of India was the whole situation in India have always been good. India never faced any threat of a military coup, but only one tragic event took place in Indian democratic history, and the event was when Indira Gandhi led Indian National Congress government imposed the national emergency under Article 352 of the Indian Constitution. That was a day that has really questioned that is India an accountable democracy. But after that particular and after those tragic 21 months, India was a good democracy. India is a good democracy, and India will be a good democracy because the people of India have always shown the utmost faith in the electoral process of this particular country, and the military of this country has served the nation in the best possible ways. So this is the primary difference between India and Pakistan. There have been various situations where the military or the army chief of this country have found this particular country in a vulnerable situation. Whether we talk about the Indo-China war, or whether we talk about the Indo-Pakistan war, or whether we talk about the Kargil war, which took place in 1999, the army chief have found the country in vulnerable situations so many times. But again, uh, we Indians cherish our values, and we are inherently patriotic. We are inherently patriotic. So that's why the army chiefs of this country never tried to you know uh, attempt a military coup. While as in Pakistan, there have been a continuous tussle between the democratically elected government and the military authoritarian rule of the Pakistan. Now, on the one hand, it is the bureaucracy and the military which trying to stole the political power from the democratically elected government, and they basically try to rule the state of Pakistan. So this is one problem with the state of Pakistan. Now let's understand. Despite the deep-stated authoritarianism in at the all elite level, all military dictatorship from 1958 saw the demise through large-scale protests underlying the distaste of the masses with military rule. In one case, mass protests unshared in Pakistan's first general election, the onset of military operations in its eastern wing, and the disintegration of the state in 1971, the exact opposite of what the military intended. The intention to control and dominate the political system collapsed again, and the weight of lawyers' movement and the public lose legitimacy as general rule alienated the masses and political elites alike. So basically, this particular article is trying to portray various situations where it have become abundantly clear that Pakistan is not a democracy. And actually, there have been so many instances when the Pakistani army have tried to take the control of entire nation, and sometimes the army of Pakistan was successful and sometimes it is not. But at the end of the day, in Pakistan, it is the military which decides the fate and future of the Pakistani population. There have been one example which is stated by the author that during the disintegration of Pakistan, when West Pakistan was, when East Pakistan, now the current day Bangladesh is known as East Pakistan. So when East Pakistan, it is the current day Bangladesh, when it was when it was disintegrated from, when it was disintegrated from West Pakistan, that is पाकिस्तान आज की डेट का जो पाकिस्तान है we call it as earlier it was West Pakistan. So East Pakistan was disintegrated from West Pakistan on 16th December 1971. So on 16th December 1971, it was East Bangladesh, that is East Pakistan, that is today's Bangladesh, was disintegrated from West Pakistan, that is today's Pakistan. And to understand the background about the things which took place in 1971, which we just have to look at the one important date, and the date is 26th of March 1971. Now, please focus very carefully what happened on 26th of March 1971. That the Pakistani army has started one operation which is known as Operation Searchlight. Now, what was this Operation Searchlight? So, in a nutshell, to make you understand, Operation Searchlight was only a simple thing, that it was Pakistani army which decided that from 26th of March 1971 onwards, the Pakistani army, tried to find out the people who are basically living in East Pakistan, that is today's Bangladesh. And I'm talking about that particular time when East Pakistan and West Pakistan were not disintegrated. So from 26th of March 1971 onwards, it was Pakistani army which was continuously trying to find out the people who are living in East Pakistan, and they are basically demanding a separate nation. So from 26th of March 1971 onwards, the military of Pakistan has made several attempts, several violent steps were taken by the Pakistani army, but at the end of the day, all efforts went in vain. And with the help of Indian army, it was state of Bangladesh which got independence on 26th of March 1971. So this is just one example how how the military of Bangladesh is feeling again and again. Now, this is just one example that even after controlling so much of power in the state of Pakistan at the actual level, or on the ground level, the Pakistani army is not actually functioning properly. Since 2008, Pakistan had four general elections. The power has been shifted from one hand to another hand, and and at the end of the day, the power was pushed back to the military again. But these things are not working for the state of Pakistan, because at the end of the day, everybody in world knows that Pakistan is not a country, or the Pakistan is a country which ever will be a democracy. अगर हम अभी की सिचुएशन के हिसाब से देखें तो हमें अभी दूर दूर तक ऐसा नहीं लगता है that Pakistan will witness a democratically elected government, or Pakistan will witness the rule of a democratically elected government. The results, however, for the political elites undertaking a tactical alliance with the military for political survival, and the military itself has been the contrary. So the situation of Pakistan is very poor, but there have been a few elites who holds all kind of powers in the state of Pakistan. So this is the kind of a tragic story. The Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI government and the military embarked on a one-page mantra only to see the Pakistani Muslim League, or Pakistani Muslim League National, taking out public rallies criticizing the government, but more crucially the military for its political engineering. Now, now it is the main. There are many political parties which are criticizing the government, which are criticizing the government, that the government of the day, or the government of the state of Pakistan, is taking a certain kind of help from the military to control the situation in Pakistan. Now, the author has given the last example with reference to India, that what was the situation of Bharatiya Janata Party in the recently held 18th Lok Sabha election, where the party was claiming that it will get more than 400 seats, but the Bharatiya Janata Party got less 40% less seats, what as against what it was claiming. Bharatiya Janata Party was claiming that it will get 400 seats, but instead of 400 seats, it got only 240 seats. So there was a depreciation of 40%. Now, So it was a kind of pushback for the Bharatiya Janata Party also, and it and now the Indian government, the this is the viewpoint of author only. So the Indian voters have understood during the elections after seeing the attitude of political leaders of Bharatiya Janata Party, the people of this country understood that this is the right time that when we should use the power of our votes, and they basically or basically this the results of the 18th Lok Sabha elections were kind of a awakening call for Bharatiya Janata Party, because Indian population have decided that they will vote against the authoritarian or the kind of expected authoritarian rule which Bharatiya Janata Party was trying to portray in our country. So this is the first article which we have discussed for today. Now let's move on to the second important article for the day. And the second important article for the day is related to a very, a very kind of a very serious disease, that is tuberculosis. We'll see few important things about tuberculosis, and how various kind of drugs that are being used to treat the TB are need to be relooked, and how we have to adopt on how we have to shift from the drugs which take a higher time to cure the disease to the drugs which are taking less time to cure the disease. Now let's understand this whole situation. And this particular article is is authored by Dr. Randeep Guleria, who is the chairman of the Institute of Internal Medicine and Respiratory and Sleep Medicine at Medanta, Gurugram. So basically, he is also former director of All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Dr. Randeep Guleria. This particular article is authored by Dr. Randeep Guleria only. Now let's understand when we talk about tuberculosis, when we talk about TB, then there is a one unfortunate data that is in front of us, and the unfortunate data is that India actually bears, or India actually had the one fourth of global TB burden. So basically, India has 25% of TB patients, which the entire world have. So as per the latest report, which was released by Indian Health Ministry, India has 25.1 lakh TB patients. In 2023, 25.1 lakh patients were diagnosed with TB in India. And and the interesting fact is that India had decided that it will eliminate tuberculosis from India by 2025. So again, and अभी ये दूर के ढोल है. अभी this right now this thing is not going to happen, because in 2023 also we have more slightly more than 25 lakh cases. So it is highly unachievable target as of now, but we are taking steps again and again. So now what kind of drugs are used to treat tuberculosis, and what is the time range of various drugs which are used for treating tuberculosis? So let's understand one by one all these things which are important for us. Let's understand one by one. Now, regimens and issues. So let's understand what are the various drugs that are available as of now to treat. Now let's understand this particular term have been discussed so many times, and time again. So first we'll understand what is the meaning of this specific term, and the term is regimen. The term is regimen. So what is the meaning of this term regimen? Please note down the term regimen means that a prescribed course of medical prescribed course of medical treatment or diet or exercise. So this is the meaning of regimen, that a prescribed course of medical treatment, diet or exercise. Now we have understood the meaning of regimen. So now let's understand the first low-hanging fruit that I believe must be invested in urgently is new shortcut regimen for drug-resistant TB. So now basically what the author of this particular article is suggesting that that the primary investment, when we talk about tuberculosis, the primary investment should be made on शॉर्टर रेजिमेंट्स. नाउ what do we mean by shorter regimens? So basically हमें टीबी के लिए ऐसे ड्रग्स को इन्वेंट करना चाहिए, ऐसे ड्रग्स को डिस्कवर करना चाहिए, या ऐसे ड्रग्स के R&D पे ज़्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट करना चाहिए जो बेसिकली शॉर्टर रेजिमेन हो, मतलब जिनका टाइम फ्रेम जिन पर्टिकुलर ड्रग्स के टीबी को ट्रीट करने का शॉर्ट जो टाइम स्पैन है वो काफ़ी छोटा हो. नाउ World Health Organization recommended shorter regimen for drug-resistant TB. Now, these shorter regimen have been basically suggested for the drug-resistant TB. Now, let's understand the current regimens on offer are long and arduous, requiring patients to consume nearly 13 to 14 tablets every day. Now, so this is the problem. This is the problem that at the current situation, the patients have to consume uh, that patient have to on an average consume daily 13 to 14 tablets if they are on a 9 to 11th in a 11 month regimen. अगर उनका जो मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट का टेन्योर है, अगर वो 13 टू 14 मंथ्स, अगर वो 11 मंथ रेजिमेन को फॉलो करें, अगर 11 मंथ का उनका ड्यूरेशन है तो उन्हें 13 टू 14 टैबलेट्स डेली कंज्यूम करनी पड़ती हैं. और अगर वो 5 टू 6 टैबलेट अगर डेली कंज्यूम करना चाहते हैं तो उन्हें 18 से 24 मंथ का टाइम लगता है टीबी को क्योर करने में. नाउ लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज दिस ड्रग रेजिस्टेंट टीबी, बिकॉज these drugs are used to treat these drugs are used to treat the drug-resistant TB, and World Health Organization have suggested that shorter regimen period or the shorter regimen drugs should be used for a drug-resistant TB. Now, a drug-resistant TB is a kind of tuberculosis. Drug-resistant TB is a kind of a tuberculosis, tuberculosis, which is which is caused by a bacteria. A drug-resistant tuberculosis which is caused by a bacteria that are resistant to at least one one of the most effective TB medicine. So basically, what is this drug-resistant TB? So drug-resistant TB means that kind of tuberculosis जिसमें जो टीबी को ट्रीट करने के लिए कोई भी एक मेजर ड्रग होता है, उससे बेसिकली क्या होता है कि वो जो बॉडी होती है दैट इज नॉट रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू दैट पर्टिकुलर ड्रग. मतलब आप के पास जितनी भी मेडिसिन अवेलेबल हैं टीबी को ट्रीट करने के लिए, उसमें से एक पर्टिकुलर ड्रग के अगेंस्ट उस टीबी ने रेजिस्टेंस डेवलप कर लिया, मतलब वो ज़्यादा इफेक्टिवली आप पे काम नहीं कर रही है. ठीक है. सो अभी जो दो तरीके के मैकेनिज्म है जिससे हम टीबी को ट्रीट करते हैं, मैंने अभी आप लोगों को बताया कि पहला लॉन्गर रेजिमेन का टाइम है जिसमें 4 to 5 टैबलेट्स आपको कंज्यूम करनी होगी ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ 18 to 24 months. Then we have a shorter 9 to 11 month regimen in which you have to consume 13 to 14 tablets every day. So now this is primarily this is the one thing that we have to discuss. In 2022, who recommended the shorter, safer, and more effective regimens called BPL for all drug-resistant TB patients. So now in 2022, World Health Organization gave one important recommendation, that it recommended BPAL. BPL slash M for all drug resistant TB patients, and there is a lot of recent data that show this regimen to be more effective with a better compliance. So basically, this BPAL, this shorter regimen which have been recommended by shorter regimen which have been recommended by World Health Organization in 2022. The name of the regimen is BPAL slash M. Now what is this BPLM? It is basically uh, it is a shorter regimen drug to treat drug resistant TB. And under this particular regimen, the patient has to take 3 to 4 tablets for a period of 6 months. So this is the most effective regimen to treat this drug-resistant TB, BPALM, and this particular regimen was recommended by World Health Organization, and it takes only 6 months, and the patient have to consume 3 to 4 tablets over a period of 6 months. And this particular shorter regimen, this BPLM, has no side effects, whereas earlier methods that we have suggested, one that used to take 18 to 24 months and another that used to take 11 months. All these kind of regimen have certain side effects. Basically, the mental condition, you will feel psychosis, depressed, and such a long term that if a person think that he has to consume a certain kind of medicine for a period of 18 to 24 months, then that particular assumption uh, shakes the consciousness of the patient. So basically बहुत सारी चीज़ें मेंटली भी अफेक्ट करता है. अब एक चीज़ और याद रखिएगा, जो ये शॉर्टर रेजिमेंट BPLM हम अभी डिस्कस कर रहे थे, ये 6 मंथ्स का टाइम लेगा. 3 to 4 टैबलेट्स कंज्यूम करनी होंगी, और इसका जो सक्सेस रेट है वो 89% है. और जो अर्लियर टी रेजिमेंट्स अवेलेबल थे उनका सक्सेस रेट कितना था? 68%. In India, not in India, actually, currently in the world, there have been 80 countries which have already procured this BPLM regimen, and the top 20 countries which have the most number of patient load of tuberculosis, they have already introduced this particular drugs in their particular respective countries. And this particular regimen, this BPAL slash M regimen will save $740 million globally. This will save $740 million globally for the healthcare infrastructure. Now let's understand that there have been one important thing that we have to discuss about tuberculosis. That in tuberculosis, the main and the most important thing is that the time of the diagnosis. If the time of the diagnosis is correct, then then there are chances the effectiveness of treatment will increase. And there have been various kind of tuberculosis in India. There's some kind of, it is called bone TB, lung TB. So there have been various kind of tuberculosis, and now, in fact, recent evidence highlights that a significant number of people with pulmonary lung TB may not exhibit recognizable symptoms such as cough, fever, weight loss, or night sweats. So another important thing that we have to understand, that if you want to eliminate TB by 2025, then somehow then we have to take some concrete steps as well, because there's this kind of TB, there is a pulmonary tuberculosis which do not explicitly show a kind of any visible symptoms. You won't feel that, you won't feel cough, you won't feel fever, you won't feel weight loss. But if you go and have a X-ray of your chest, then you will definitely understand that you are suffering from a lung TB. So if you want to eliminate or eradicate tuberculosis from India, then we have to identify the patients and identify this disease at the correct point of time. Further, there is a critical need to expand the use of rapid molecular tests over less sensitive microscopy methods for faster detection and drug resistance profiling. So one of the last thing that the author is suggesting, that this is the best way that we try to expand the use of rapid molecular test. The only reason why we should use more and more rapid molecular test, because rapid molecular test gives the report gives report in a short span of time, and also the success rate, or the truth, or the correction, not the actually the correction rate, but actually the not actually, not also the conversion rate, but actually the success rate of this particular test is very high. And this particular test type also takes a very less time. So if we will diagnose the tuberculosis at the early stage, then we can do the drug resistance profiling. Now what is this drug resistance profiling? That suppose if a person X is suffering from a tuberculosis and a drug resistance profiling has been done for that particular patient, then it then the doctors will understand that his body is his body is not responding to which kind of drug which has been which they are using for curing the tuberculosis. So this is your drug resistance profiling that so this that's why it is necessary that we should conduct more and more rapid molecular tests so we can identify the patient at the earliest possible way. And if we have to, if we want to remove or eliminate tuberculosis from India by 2025, then we have to take various serious and concrete steps, and we have to prioritize our needs and requirements. Now let's move to the next part of the today's newspaper. So this is we won't be discussing this whole this article in detail. Basically, recently Ukraine has claimed that they have acquired one of the territories of Russian Union, and the name of the territory is Kursk. So they have declared it on August 6th that they have acquired the territory of Kursk, and also Ukrainian army have moved 10 kilometer inside from the international border of Russia and Ukraine. So this is one important news that we are discussing. Now let's move on to the next important news. So these are two parallel news that we'll see. So central government has basically this central government holds a meeting. So they discussing the safety of doctors at their workplace. And the second important statement that have been made by the women Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamta Banerjee, who initially she was protesting against herself. Now she is basically saying that the state of West Bengal will pass a law to ensure that the death penalty should be provided, or the provision for a death penalty for the rape convicts. So this is one important news that is coming all the way from the eastern part of India, that is a state of West Bengal. Now the second important news, the next important news that is related to the defense aspect of our country. So India have signed a repeat order of 73,000 SIG 716 rifles from the big saver of the United States of America. So India has recently repeated its order of 73,000 SIG 716 rifles from the big saver of the United States of America, and these rifles, or these SIG 716 rifles, will be delivered by the end of 2025. The number is 2000. The number is 73,000. Now the next important article, it is related to the state of Uttar Pradesh, because the state of Uttar Pradesh government had decided that it will reward digital influencers which are actually promoting their initiatives and schemes. So this is one important news that is coming from all the way from the state of Uttar Pradesh. And the next important news is coming from the upper house of the parliament, that is uh, that is Rajya Sabha. So National Democratic Alliance, the Bharatiya Janata Party led National Democratic Alliance have achieved the majority in Rajya Sabha after 12 more members have been added to National Democratic Alliance. The current strength of National Democratic Alliance is 119 members, whereas the total strength at this moment, the total strength of Rajya Sabha is 237. So Bharatiya Janata Party has, or no, no, not actually Bharatiya Janata Party, but actually National Democratic Alliance now has a kind of, not a kind of, National Democratic Alliance now have a majority in the upper house of the parliament, that is Rajya Sabha. So there have been this statement by World Health Organization that the current outbreak of the Chandipura virus CHPV infection in India is considered the largest in the past 20 years, says the World Health Organization. And the World Health Organization have clearly stated that the recent outbreak of this CHPV Chandipura virus was the largest outbreak of this virus in last 20 years, and there have been a chance, then there are chances of further transmission of Chandipura virus. This particular warning was issued by the World Health Organization. Let's now move on to the next important article of today's newspaper. So there have been a kind of tug of war going on between China and Philippines in South China Sea. We are saying the recent development there have been some kind of tussle that's going on between Philippines and China in South China Sea. And in the latest development, China has issued a warning to United States of America, and basically China has requested, not requested, they have basically warned United States of America that they should not support Philippines when it comes to South China Sea. They should keep their nose to their own selves. Now, the next important news, or the only important news that is from the sports sector, that International Cricket Council, the ICC, has elected Jai Shah as its new chairman, and he was basically elected unopposed. There was no one to contest against the Jai Shah, and he is the new chairman of International Cricket Council (ICC). Now, an Indian will head International Cricket Council. So this is the news. This is important from the sports sector. And except this, the next important thing that the opening ceremony of Paralympics in have begun. Paralympics are taking place in the state of Paris, and Indian contingent was present. The flag bearer at the opening ceremony were Sumit and Bhagyashree. So this is one important news that was coming all the way from Paris Paralympics. So with this, we have completed the news analysis of 29th of August 2024. And if you guys have any questions related to today's analysis, then do you can punch in those questions in the comment section as well. We will definitely answer those questions. And thank you so much for watching today's video analysis. And we'll meet you tomorrow in another session of this Hindu analysis. And till then, if you have any questions, then you can punch in those questions in the comment section. रेस्ट टेक केयर बाय बाय मिलते हैं कल के सेशन में वापस से तब तक के लिए आप लोग अपना ध्यान रखिए थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग दिस सेशन थैंक यू